Welcome into a new KSR Rapid Reaction from Rupp Arena, where Kentucky just played its first of two preseason exhibition games. This one against the Griffins of Missouri Western, coached by a former Kentucky manager, Will Martin. And Kentucky got the job done 56-38. We would have liked to see a few more points, but we'll take the win in the game. I'm here with Jack Pilgrim and Zach Gagan from KSR, who took in all the action with me there at Rupp Arena Sunday. I'll start with you, Jack. What do you think about this scoring output or lack thereof from the offense against a team that should have been susceptible to giving up a lot of points?
It was a historic offensive performance for all of the wrong reasons. I believe it was the third fewest points scored ever in a full exhibition game, and I think the fewest since 1948 against the Phillips Oilers. Do you know who the Phillips Oilers are? Because I certainly don't. That was actually the game that Kentucky played outside at Stoll Field. So you'd like to see a little bit more offensively. Obviously, C.J. Frederick was the guy. He kind of continued where he left off there in the blue-white game, three-point barrage. He led all scorers with 15 points, three-point shooter. At his core, Cal called him a special player after the game, but not a whole lot else beyond that, Drew.
We still had a good time, though, right, Zach? You know, we put last year behind us. Blue-white madness, all those dress rehearsals are gone. You finally had another opponent. The game doesn't matter in the record book. It's a preseason meaningless exhibition, but it was still good to see Kentucky basketball, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially with how things went down on Saturday night, it was always good to get an actual Kentucky win, a feel-good win, even if it wasn't maybe as Cats by 90-ish as we would have liked. But I thought the most interesting topic of the game was just kind of how the offense sputtered a little bit. Cal said last week that the offense was ahead of the defense. And then when someone asked about it in the press conference, he quickly took that back and said that he misspoke there. So definitely some strides still to be made on offense, but the defense looked good. You could chalk it up to Missouri Western State being, a Division II school, but either way, the defense looked fine. And it was just fun to actually watch some real basketball out there that's not, against Kentucky on Kentucky, essentially.
Yeah, we're all big fans of Cason Wallace here on the KSR YouTube channel, everywhere we are. And Wallace was the team's leading rebounder today. He looked good doing his usual defensive stuff as well. I know you all love seeing Wallace as much as I did, and we might have to see more of him because, unfortunately, Xavier Wheeler banged knees in the second half underneath Kentucky's goal. Laid there for a minute, couldn't put any weight on it as they helped him off the court and into the locker room. John Calipari, we got more than I haven't seen him about Wheeler. Mentioned that it was the same knee that kept him out of blue-white, and that was just twisted. Not much more than that as far as what it could have been. But what do we think of Cal? Was that a positive response? Did we get some optimism that Wheeler will be back in a timely manner?
Yes, I loved the response from Cal. I love that we finally get some real responses where he actually, addresses what happened. It was, we got a twist. Like that's usually it's like, oh, it's a upper right body extremity. Like you have no idea what the actual injury is itself. We got a twisted knee today. Like, holy crap. Like since when do we get actual updates on that? So I loved it. It was very refreshing in that regard. Love that from Coach Cal. But yeah, it sucks that, he went down. It's an interesting opportunity for Cason Wallace to play point guard. Cal said at Media Day this past week that Cason has played exclusively point guard, that he hasn't even gotten a chance to try any off-ball reps. Seeing how well they work together. Things worked pretty well there in the first half and going into the second half. But clearly, Cason might be asked to do a little bit more than I think he was anticipating this early in the season. I have always been one that thought that maybe Cason could steal that role by the end of the season as Kentucky's starting point guard. I didn't expect it to happen this early, and you never want an injury to cause that. And hopefully, it's just a couple day thing. Maybe he's out the next exhibition game and returns for the regular season or whatever. But definitely not good news. You never want your Bob Cousy Award watch list going into this year and a finalist last year. You never want him going down.
No, we love Wheeler. We're excited for what he'll bring this year and what he's already done. I do like the idea, not because of the injury, but I wouldn't mind, even when Wheeler's back and healthy, a little Wallace, Reeves, Frederick lineup in the backcourt. Reeves didn't have his best game tonight. Shots just weren't falling. Still looked pretty good. But Jack mentioned earlier, C.J. Frederick leading the team. He was great from behind the three-point arc. Zach, how about him just getting out there and being healthy and finally getting to run and play a full game there and then ends up leading the team?
Yeah, he was a quick trigger. He was ready to fire and shoot whenever he wanted to. He definitely was embracing that Kellen Grady role that he had last year. So it was really nice to see him out there just moving, looking fluid. I think one of the best parts about his game was just how active he was on defense. Cal even mentioned like how he pushed over Jacob to try and go through a switch. There's some background noise going on, but CJ was really good.
Up.
Yeah, they're getting really loud over there. I think that
they're literally walking right behind here.
Yeah. That's Jack's fault.
Totally on that.
But yeah, his defense was awesome. He was active the whole time. I mean, the guy was sprinting harder on defense, I thought, than he was chasing his shots on offense. So if he's going to be that dedicated on that end of the floor as well, you're going to see the exact two-way threat that we kind of all expected when he first arrived here. So really liked what I saw from him there.
And let me add before we move on, he did say after the game that was the most comfortable that he has been since he's been at Kentucky. And he said that this game actually came easier to him than anything that he's done in practice, that the practices are infinitely harder in terms of, the wear and tear on his leg and, getting back to the groove of things. So he was like, me actually being in the game and playing and kind of sitting on the 3-point arc and doing my thing there. He said, that's the easiest thing I've done. So if we can actually stick with that, not get hurt in practice, he said that's the goal here. So availability is key with CJ Frederick, and man, when he's on the floor, he's a game changer.
Surprisingly, there was only one other player in double-figure scoring in a game where I thought they'd have 100 points. Just barely missed that prediction, Drew. But Jacob Toppin joined CJ Frederick with high scoring. Toppin with an all-around pretty good game, 6 rebounds, couple steals, couple assists. And I'm a big fan of this turnaround jumper that I got to see a couple of times. I don't know if Cal will let him do that in the year, but it sure did look good tonight. Is that something that we can count on moving forward? That was one of the highlights of the whole night.
I would hope so. I think that's the shot that he's said continuously that he's worked on all summer. He's shown it a lot in the Bahamas. I think he even showed it off in some of the scrimmages that we've seen. So that's really the shot that he's honed in and really tried to take the next step in his game. And if he's hitting it like he has been so far, that's only going to add to his game. He even had a catch and shoot 3 from the top, kind of in between the top of the key and the elbow that just went straight in. He was 1 for 4 overall, but he has a lot of confidence in that shot right now. The interesting part with Jacob will be if watching him trying to figure out how to balance showing all his development versus wanting to fit in with the team as well. So far, so good. I thought he did well in that regard of trying to mesh with everyone. But the athleticism, we really didn't see much from him tonight. He was just kind of content with taking his jumpers. You'll want to see him balance that out as the season goes along. But a good start from Jacob, and I think the breakthrough is clearly on the way. We'll just need one of those games. There will be a game, I feel like, where it'll actually come through and happen, but it's on its way.
Our guy Steven producing behind the scenes, doing a great job showing us the box score here. And those 5 blocks are jumping out at me for Ugana and Yenso. Hold on, before I go on, I got to get this right. I think I'm saying his name wrong. Cal was saying it differently than I've been saying it. Jack, can you give us the correct answer? I got to get this right before we go any further.
Ugo. Just call him Ugo. He is
Ugo.
Ugana Kingsley Onyenso, but they just call him Ugana Onyenso or just Ugo.
The
okay,
Ugo
Big
no
Blue
no.
Nation. Everyone watching right here on the KSR YouTube channel, we're learning together. We're going to go with Ugo. So Ugo had 5 blocks with Oscar being out. He won't play that many minutes, but 15 and a half all year maybe. But I love seeing him block those shots. I felt like he had 4 in a row on one possession.
He did, and I think he actually had 2 in the same possession, and I think before that he had a one at the end of the shot clock and then another on a tip ball. I mean, he just racks them up in a hurry. He told me in the preseason, he said, look, I was the best shot blocker in high school basketball, and I fully plan on being the best shot blocker in college basketball. So I love the confidence. I love the fact that he came in with absolutely 0 expectations in terms of the team. They said this is Oscar Sheboy's team. This is going to be Lance Ware's team. Damian Collins playing it, kind of sliding over at the 5 every once in a while. But, he's kind of making them ask some questions. Cal said at the podium tonight, he was like, we all knew he was good, but did we know he was that good that he's going to be dropping 5 blocks every once in a while? And I do want to kind of throw in the first time that we got to see him there in the first half, there we throw around that P word again. It was our very first 5 out, 5 in rotation with the platoon, and Ugo was a part of that. So I don't know if that means anything. Cal said after the game that he was getting creative with rotations and wanting to find guys that are going to fight and show a physical brand of basketball. Is Ugo part of that 5? I don't know, but it was interesting seeing that platoon for the first time in who knows how many years.
I don't think many people had high expectations of Ugo in year one, but with Oscar being out a little bit, I think he made a lot of fans tonight. They have another exhibition game coming up on Thursday, also meaningless but big for everyone to get some more run. This is slipping my mind. Who do they play?
Kentucky State. Cordell
Kentucky
Livingston.
State. That is right.
Chris Livingston's son is on the, or not son. Chris Livingston's brother is on the team.
That'd be real weird if Chris
He's gonna
had
be his son, after the game is over.
Yeah, it's the late JT's favorite team too, Kentucky State. My apologies to the Thoroughbreds for forgetting that. But we'll see a lot more of the team. Hopefully they'll score more than 56 points in that game Thursday night. But it was fun to get to see some real action against a real opponent on the other side with some former Kentucky Wildcats on the bench. Before we go, how about Will Martin post-game just being like, hey, everyone out there, go to Kentucky. I don't care if you're a transfer, recruit, go here, don't go anywhere else.
That was probably my favorite part. He said, if you, the exact quote was something like, if you are a top level recruit or a top level transfer and you don't go to Kentucky, you are crazy. I mean, have we ever seen a coach on the at the podium say anything that strongly? I loved his comments. He got a little emotional talking about it. Really, really cool stuff there for Will Martin.
We'll see if he feels the same way if he ever has a player that's good enough to play at Kentucky, though, one day.
Hey, maybe he'll be here one day. He's already on a great path. Already been here once and won a national championship. Maybe there'll be more down the road. But for now, we thank Will Martin for the free recruiting infomercial or commercial there in the press conference. And thanks to Jack and Zach for hanging around and recapping this game on a late Sunday night. For Drew Franklin and KSR and everyone on the YouTube page, which you should subscribe to right now, this is our rapid reaction from Kentucky's big win over Missouri Western. Go Cats, and y'all have a good night.